Hey, it's me, Raika. Today we're going to have a look at the brand new Lightbearer hero, Lucius, Oath of Radiance. Now, this hero wears plate-based gear, is part of the tank class, and his primary role is to provide a significant amount of shields, healing, and continuous damage for your teammates. So let's have a look at his skills. His ultimate ability, Divine Radiance. Lucius enters the abundant Radiance state for several seconds, dealing damage to nearby enemies every second and granting nearby allies a shield. So as we can see, this lasts for 7 seconds. So this effect will look as if a bubble forms around Lucius with blades constantly swirling around him and dealing damage to the enemies. Now the blessed shield value will be of 600%, so this is the shield value around himself, and it will last for 7 seconds. And while this is active, Lucius is immune to control effects while using this ability over here. The level 2, the shield's value is increased by 10% of the target's lost health, but cannot exceed 300% of Lucius's defense rating. Damage is increased by 10% of the target's current health. The level 3, before using Divine Radiance, which is the ultimate, for the first time, Lucius' energy recovery is increased by 40 points, and he is immune to effects that reduce energy or prevent energy recovery. So as we can see over here, he'll be able to gain this ultimate ability extremely fast, allowing him to protect his allies and deal a massive amount of damage within a short period of time. His next ability, Unwavering Devotion. Now this is 2 effects over here. When he uses this ability, Bodyguard, if an ally's health is low, so it has to be lower than 50% of its current remaining value, Bodyguard will be used. Otherwise, Assault is used. So Lucius will transition between these 2 effects while he is in battle. When he is using Bodyguard, Lucius taunts surrounding enemies in a large area for 6 seconds. So taunt forces the enemies to attack Lucius instead of your allied heroes, while granting a blessed shield equal to 1000% of his defense rating to himself and the ally with the lowest health percentage. Assault. Lucius slashes several times at the enemies in front, dealing 3 strikes of damage equal to 200% of attack rating per strike, plus 1 strike of damage equal to 300% of attack rating while knocking back enemies. So as we can see, this is a bit of control, a bit of defensive components, and an offensive component as well. The level 2, the strike that breaks the blessed shield will deal no damage. So as we can see, gives him extra bit of invulnerability to incoming damage that is targeted towards Lucius over here. Level 3, when an ally that has a blessed shield gains another blessed shield, 80% of the excess shield value will be converted into healing. The level 4, when an ally that has blessed shield suffers an energy reduction effect, 80% of the energy reduction will be recovered after 2 seconds. So as we can see, he can bypass certain effects affecting allies that have the blessed shield buff. And the level 5 upgrade, each time Bodyguard is used, Lucius gains 10 points of a damage resist. So this is damage reduction from all forms of damage, both melee and magical damage or ranged damage. Each time Assault is used, he will gain 10 points of physical pierce. So physical pierce reduces damage reduction on the enemies, and this effect can be stacked 4 times. So that is 40% of each particular buff. And the level 6, using Divine Radiance, which is the ultimate ability, refreshes the cooldown of Unwavering Devotion. So as we can see, he can gain multiple shields at a time, deal massive amounts of single target and AoE damage within a short period of time. His next ability, Scorching Judgment. After every 2 normal attacks, the next normal attack will be enhanced, dealing more damage. So it will be enhanced, and the damage will equal to 320% of Lucius's attack rating. And in addition, it will knock the enemy down and apply Divine Judgment effect, reducing the target attack rating by 40% and their crit rating by 40 points for 5 seconds. Lucius deals 40% more damage to enemies affected by Divine Judgment. The level 2, when an enemy affected by Divine Judgment suffers divine judgment again. So this is multiple sources of this same damage strike. They suffer health loss equal to 250% of Lucius's attack rating. And then level 3, when Lucius is affected by abundant radiance. So this is his ultimate ability. When he gains the shield, the damage boost is increased to 80%, and the damage from divine radiance and unwavering devotion, so that is his ability right over here, and his ultimate skill, applies the divine judgment effects on enemies. So this further supercharges the amount of damage resist and damage buffs that he gains from this ability over here. Right, so his next ability, Sheltering Shield. Lucius' shield is blessed by divine light. The damage of each incoming strike is reduced by 300% of Lucius's defense rating. The first time Lucius' health percentage drops below 50%, he gains a blessed shield of 1500% of his defense rating. This is triggered again once his health percentage drops below 25%. The level 2, when Lucius is deployed on the front line, he protects the nearest 2 allied heroes behind him. So similar to Arthur, the allies behind him will be protected, and when they have lower health percentage than Lucius, he will take 50% of the damage directed at them. So as we can see, he can provide a massive amount of shield, damage reduction, and damage redirect to himself. Each strike of damage thus taken cannot exceed 500% of Lucius's defense rating. And the level 3 unlock, when Lucius is affected by abundant radiance. So that is his ultimate ability, the shield effect. The damage reduction of each strike is increased to 500% of his defensive rating. And allied heroes protected by Lucius also gain the damage reduction effect. So he can provide a massive amount of damage reduction for himself and for his allies through his shields and various other damage reduction components. So let's have a look at his special power, Glorious Assault. Lucius gains additional attribute bonuses. His attack rating is increased by 100% of his initial defense rating, so there's an extra buff. Crit rating is increased by 100% of his initial crit block rate, and crit damage amplification is increased by 100% of his initial crit damage resistance. So as we can see, this hero over here requires a large amount of stats, either through his collection, his engravings, signature item, and his furniture will greatly benefit this hero over here. So let's have a look at how he does in battle. So right, we're going to start off with the wooden training dummy over here. So as we can see, as soon as he starts slashing and striking the enemies over here. So there's the attack effect, there's the divine judgment, which is a little circle that appears around the enemy. There's the slash, and then once it is empowered, he does a massive slash, deals damage to the enemies. There we go, there's the extra damage that he gains. So let's have a look at his ultimate ability. So as we can see, now he will gain abundant radiance over here. This is a shield that appears around himself, his allies, and he will continue to deal damage around him over here. So the enemy can be placed behind or in front of him, and he will still deal damage to the enemies as well. There we go. There's the shield once again, and the continuous damage that he provides. So let's have a look at how he does at a much higher level deficit. So over here, we are going to fight at a 240 level deficit. And from this team over here, we can see that he has dealt a massive amount of damage. Now, from this battle playthrough, he was the only hero that survived, and he was able to tank all the incoming damage through his shields and his healing effects that he's able to provide for himself. Now, the other allies over here simply gave him additional buffs, which further supercharged his effectiveness in battle. So let's have a look at how he does. So as we can see over here, he walks onto battle, and now he'll gain the effects from Scrake, as he'll be able to get that additional extra buffs from Scrake. This will supercharge his effectiveness. So as we can see, my allies just have died, 2 of my allies. Now he's going to cast his ultimate ability, and he's going to do massive amounts of screen-wide damage to all the enemies over here. Now he's immune to control effects, and this allows him to continue to deal damage, heal himself. So as we're going to see, he's lost a bit of his health. However, because of his shield, he's able to heal himself, and he's continually smashing the enemies into the ground. So there we go, he killed a couple of the enemies. There we go, he gained his shield as he dropped below 50% health, he gained a shield, and he's easily able to tank all the damage that was intended for him. So he can easily solo the entire team by himself. Now, this is another team over here. As we can see, the enemies were grouped up nicely because of Atheist over here. This allowed Lucius to deal massive amounts of damage to enemies that are stacked together in one particular area. So what is the minimum investment that I would recommend into Lucius over here? Now, I would highly recommend getting his 30 signature item, as this can supercharge the amount of damage that he can deal. We will have to wait and see whether his 40 signature item will be relevant. However, the minimum would be at least getting him to 30 signature item. I would highly recommend also getting his 9 out of 9 furniture, as this unlocks many additional effects, which allows him to become even more tanky and deal even more damage to the enemies. Now, every single additional point of investment that you put into Lucius supercharges his buffs, as we can see from his special power. This allows him to solo the entire team by himself and allow you to claim victory over your opponent. Now, I would also recommend getting his 30 and his 60 engravings, as this further buffs his survivability and his damage in battle. Now, he will be extremely powerful, especially when placed with another healer, as this can offset a massive amount of damage. Because Lucius is constantly providing shields and damage for your teammates, the extra healer will be able to maintain that full health percentage for your allied heroes. So this hero will be extremely powerful when paired with any healing reduction effects, as he will constantly be providing shield and damage for your allies.